This is the Bar Stewards Inquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
And a big welcome to the Bar Stewards Inquiry Grand National Preview Show. We have a action-packed show with plenty of tips and some strong tips as well. And a guest this evening is the Ginger Hitler as well. You'll meet the Ginger Hitler for the first time. He's one of North East's biggest bar stewards. And he'll be here also giving his terrible advice for racing tomorrow. Gentlemen, John Lang joins me also, John Joe's Blogspot. John, how was your punting days at Aintree the last 2 days? How have they gone?
It's been all right. The bets away from Aintree have probably kept things ticking along nicely, really, and hopefully a bit more of the same tonight. I'm hoping.
Well, yeah. My Frankel is John's tip that runs in the 7:40, I believe, if you're listening to this show before then, which you probably won't, so it'd be no good to you, so I hope it wins. And then no one's on.
Slay nap.
So, Ginger, how's your 2 days at Aintree been?
Well, actually, I prefer the moniker the Strawberry Blonde Rommel, if we could just go with that.
So the strawberry, not Himmler, nothing.
No, he was a bit creepy, wasn't he? No, absolutely terrible yesterday, Lee. I think I backed 5 horses and only one of them finished, and that was last. So that's a measure of it. Today I started off okay. I backed the 12-1 shot. I had a couple of favourites there as well, but on the whole, no. But I think I broke even today.
I mean, maybe like we're missing a trick here. Maybe we should just bet the Irish. Just yet again, you know, the Irish just destroyed us at Cheltenham, and the Magic Carrots are back. Plenty of Irish winners. I mean, what are we doing? What are we all doing? Irish winners galore. We saw what happened at Cheltenham, and we're doing nothing. We're letting them win at big prices, massive prices. We're crazy people. I mean, this should be the strategy for tomorrow, should it not, John?
Well, yeah, we're just letting it happen at the minute, aren't we? We're probably need to be more proactive and get stuck into some big price Irish outsiders with their eyes popping out their heads.
Well, yeah. I mean, it just seems that way. That's all that's happening. The Irish just dominating, and they've barely had any runners this week compared to Cheltenham, and they're still racking up winners.
They sent the C team over, and they're still thrashing our A team, aren't they? That's what's happened.
Yeah, some great carrots. Right, we want to talk before we get into the tips, gents. Tomorrow, I'd like to bring up 2 subjects over the last 2 days. The one for me is the ground, and I was quite shocked today as well to see like Francesca Kamani and Luke Harvey and lots of other pundits and Twitterati pundits saying that the ground's like on the quick side. Well, not according to my eyes. It isn't on data. The stick readings are saying that it is genuine good to soft slow ground. The Times are saying genuine good to soft slow ground. There's nothing there to say that ground is riding rattling quick, which according to some pundits and some people on Twitter, you've got to have a quick ground horse. John, what are you saying?
Well, I don't know why you were shocked that the likes of Francesca Kamani and Luke Harvey were wide of the mark. But
how many winners have you ridden, John?
Nearly as many as them, and he's had a licence.
I think Francesca's rode a winner as well, I told John. I'm sure she has.
Oh, I'm sure she's pretty decent in the saddle. And
behind it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Times don't bear out what they're saying. The big problem here is the fact that they're absolutely terrified of the Horse Welfare Brigade. And they do not know anything that they can do as a sop to them, other than ploughing more and more water on courses. It's their only weapon because they're thick, and the problem with that is, well, for punters anyway, there's a very good chance it could get the favourite beat in the national.
Yeah.
And a knock-on effect, of course, then people can say, well, look at the gross profits tax deal. And then you can cast aspersions at the VHA for not checking this watering policy, because it could be said it's altering results in favour of the boats. You know, I mean, if it hadn't been overwatered today, would the likes of Brave Man's Game got beat by 66-1 poke? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But anybody can sling shit at the VHA now with impunity because they're in that rotten dale with the boaties, and they just don't care about the reputation or the probity of the sport.
Indeed. I mean, what I would say is that, like your first point, definitely on the safety angle, they're absolutely petrified. They don't want, you know, any horses legs swinging around live on ITV. You know, when everyone from the animal rights, etc., are watching, and so I applaud that in a way. But the other side of the coin for me is that you're messing around, and to me, for people in the sport, forget people outside of the sport that we're never going to please anyway.
No,
you are changing the circumstances of owners, trainers. Some horses might really genuinely want nice, good spring ground, and I'm sorry, but the Times aren't saying that. You know, no matter what people are saying on social media, the Times are really slow. Not one horse today has gone under. Well, I think one's the Topham winner, the one of Willie Mullins, has managed to do just under 10 seconds slower than standard, and the rest of them are between 10 and 20 seconds slower than standard. So there's no evidence there to say that there's good ground. That's not good ground. Good ground, you'd be sort of, you know, 5, 6, 7 seconds slow, that kind of thing. I don't see the good in that. So yeah, to me it's a problem from people in racing and a punting perspective. So I have to go on data and not what people are saying in the media. Second point I wanted to bring this week, John. You mentioned last week that Tiger Roll was going to be ill-suited to Aintree and shouldn't be running in the bowl.
Yeah.
And it certainly got an interesting ride, did it not?
Well, you could say it got a bubble wrap ride, because there was no way anything was going to happen to the horse, because it wasn't competitive at any stage, and wasn't asked to be competitive at any stage. For me, the lad was lucky he didn't get 40 days.
It's interesting because a couple of professional punter friends of mine also were straight on after the race, saying it's the biggest non-trier they've seen at a festival meeting. You know, I mean, and to be honest, having watched it back, I was sort of flabbergasted. It was just purely there for a float up. And like you said, Ginge, you said to me before air, you said that you felt that was sticking fingers up to the handicapper, did you not?
Yeah, I did. Maybe O'Leary had to listen to your podcast where John was adamant the thing was going to die, but they decided to put it in bubble wrap after all. It could have just been that, couldn't it? You know, thank John for it. Thank John.
I mean, I'd say owner could even be a bigger bar steward than you. What do you think?
There's a possibility.
What do you think, John?
Well, I think there's bar stewards and there's uber bar stewards like Ginger there, and then there's Michael O'Leary, who is probably king bar steward.
I mean, for our listeners that obviously don't know the strawberry blonde Rommel, it's a tongue twister. I was introduced to him a few years back, and I finally got to play golf with him, and I don't think I've ever experienced anything like it. I mean, this man is terrible. If you land in the bunker and you say, "Oh, my ball's plugged," you know, he'll walk past and say, "Good." You know, I mean, I could hit a drive, and it'd sort of be very right. It'd end up on the fairway, and he'd be chuntering right up to the hole, saying that that's not proper golf. I don't deserve to be in this hole. I don't deserve to get half the hole. I don't deserve to win the hole. And it's the most. I can tell anyone now, if you ever play golf with him, it's hilarious because he will have you. And whether you lose him winning, it's class. And that John, when your phone goes off on tee, what's it like? When your phone goes off and he's about to tee off, what's he like?
I'm just glad he doesn't bring a gun. To be honest.
I mean, go on.
I'm just saying it's terrible etiquette to have your phone going, isn't it, while you're putting? Let's be honest.
I don't have it going while I'm putting.
Well, obviously not, no. You just get Jace phoning you up, don't you? Every time somebody else takes a putt. Yeah. Terrible.
But it's terrible sport. I mean, I've known it before when I've like either older 15-foot putt or I've done this, I've done that. And Johnny's chuntering on the way to the next tee, saying he didn't deserve to lose that hole. I was lucky, you know. I could never do anything, no matter what I did. It'd be, you know, I was lucky. I mean, that's my favourite one. When I hit one that far right, it ends up on other fairway, and he's saying through gritted teeth that he sets off with his trolley. He, you know, sets his electric trolley off, and he's chuntering away, saying, "Well, I don't hit bad shots. I've just sneaked into and I've got it rough, and he's hit terrible shots, and he's going away with it." He's just absolute class, isn't it? It's best thing ever. But I mean, I love it. I love playing with him. Do I owe you money? Anyway? Still,
yeah, you owe me about 20 quid, I think, from 2 years ago when you last played. Yeah, but it doesn't matter, does it?
Well, no, you swivel for that, can't you? Really?
Typical. I have actually come down in the last couple of years because I was really aggressive at golf for the first 4 or 5 years I played with John. But the last 2 or 3 years I've calmed right down. So you're seeing the best of me, really.
Well, one of your other golfing pals mentioned that there was a King Arthur moment once where you slammed a putter into the soggy turf and there were calls for King Arthur to get it out. I mean...
Anybody that could have pulled the putter out would have got a green jacket.
I don't know what sort of clubs you go to, but if I'm asking King Arthur to get it out, I'm in the wrong place.
Brilliant. Right. After that, we'll swiftly move on to... before I get to the bets tomorrow, I'd just like to tell you the upcoming Bar Stewards schedule, which is the Sunday sermon as normal on Sunday. Me and John will be back. This will be Chris's first and last appearance on the show. And we'll be back also on Monday to do a Craven special. So it'll be covering the Newmarket Craven meeting, and we'll be hoping to give you plenty of losers for the next 2 or 3 days after that of the Newmarket Craven meeting.
Unraced crowds, yeah.
Which is one of mine and John's favourite weeks for the calendar. You've got the Craven meeting, then you've got the Newbury meeting following. It's just a great part of the flat schedule in the spring. Right, let's get on to the action because we know you want our tips. No, you don't really, do. But anyway, we'll get on to the first race at Aintree tomorrow. It's the 1:45 race. It's the 3 mile and half a furlong EFT Systems Handicap Hurdler Grade 3 event. 22 runners. T Clipper has been backed into 13-2 favourite for Tom Lacey with an eye-catching booking of Rachel Blackmore. Chris, I'm coming to you now. What are you saying for the first at Aintree?
I'm going to Dutch a couple of Hendo's horses, Janica and Champagne Platinum. They both ran really well at the festival, and Hendo's got a really good strike rate with festival failures, basically. So horses that ran at the festival, they run at Aintree, and his strike rate's pretty good. So right. I quite like Janica as well. I've never backed Champagne Platinum before, but yeah. So that's my reasoning on it. That's my guess for the
Yeah,
race.
I think John liked Yannicka last time from memory.
I did,
Yeah,
I backed it in that Stewart's race at a big price.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it ran quite well, didn't it, from memory?
Yeah, it was just got dipped out of fourth on the post, didn't it, really?
Yeah, was it the race that the what was it a race that the Irish won by any chance?
It would have been because it was a race at Cheltenham.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So Yannicka and the other Henderson runner for you. Has he got? Platinum. Yeah, that's the one that ran in the that ran all right in the
Thames. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for Stocker, the Ginger Hitler, with these two for the opener. So you know to press pink on Betfair on those two. John, your thoughts?
Well, I can go double strength on the pink on Champagne Platinum because I'm chucking in with Ginger. I thought it ran okay at the Fairs, same mark here. This race probably wouldn't be as good, so I think it's a fairly obvious choice. He ought to be on the premises. I'm not itching to back him, but I think he's a reasonable shout.
Yeah, obviously being stopped all year by JP, obviously to try and win attempts just wasn't quite good enough, but comes there. Was beaten by Tom Georges in the attempts, come on Teddy, and I felt that he was more disadvantaged because he had to come from behind Champagne Platinum and still managed to do so. Looked in good fettle. By fame and glory should be all right on the. I keep falling for this punditry saying good ground. I know it's got into my head today. Well, anyway, he'd be fine. And I felt that he didn't offer much value. You know, it's sort of priced up as it is. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother. But I thought, come on, Teddy was eye catching. But as we've seen today, that the winner of the last race today that beat Brave Man's Game had a fairly easy lead, and I just think they need to start going a proper pace on these hurdle races because they don't seem to be coming back. So
the front's just parking the bus, isn't it?
Yeah. So because it's so tight, so you get to them bends and then and they slow it down and stack them up. It's kind of proving quite difficult to come from too far off at pace. So I'm a bit reluctant to tip anything that's miles behind. One other thing for you Irish fans in the race tomorrow, Whirling Dervish, Ricky Doyle takes the ride. Ricky Doyle obviously recently won the Irish Grand National on the 300-1 Magic Carrots perk. And Whirling Dervish is about 12-1. That's the Irish runner. If you like your Irish horses, will go on the ground. Was a good flat horse in the 90s, so
that'd be too old then, surely, won't it?
What's that?
That would be too old if it was a good flat horse in the 90s. Christ, that makes it 30-odd-year-old. That's got no chance, has it?
John, pack him up, send him home. Get in the box after that. Terrible.
I'll get my cloak.
Yeah, get your coat. unless to ensure later you do a Peter Beardsley impression. That's a must. You do a very good Peter Beardsley impression.
Oh, thank you.
Right, anyway. So we move on after that, after some terrible advice there, to the 2:25 race. It's the 2.5 miles Betway in Mersey Novices Hurdle. It's a Grade 1 affair. Heavily backed is the Dan Skelton horse, My Drogo. Short as 13-8 in some places. Been sort of 2-1, 9-4 all week. I'll come to you, John, first this time. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, the real deal missed the Fez. And this has been the fairy story all season.
The kitchen victor.
I would love to see him win this, just to show what's possible when you cheat like buggery to get a mark 60 pounds below what you're capable of.
Yes.
Hopefully this will take loads of trainers out of hoodwink with handicapper and leave punters floundering and give the game another good kick in the nuts. But if you like your racing straight, cheer for My Drogo and the Scallywags.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've summed it up quite well there. the real deal for me. You know, obviously, of course, it's had the medication, and you know, it's done very well, and you know, it's gone through the grades, and you know, what else can you say about the horse, really? You know, it started off in the 45 on the flat, I think it was, or 50. And then over hurdles, it started off, you know, 40, 50 pounds lower. It's just, I mean, look.
Trying to sell himself for the Champions League.
Well, he was sort of on Twitter, and he was sort of insinuating he'd love like JP to buy this. Obviously, JP's not come in and bought it, but well, we don't know if he has or if he hadn't. He could still be in Ronan's now. I don't know, but he kind of. I'm sure it was for sale. I'm sure he was offering JP and wanted JP to win a Grade 1 with it. But anyway, I agree with you, John. My Drogo was a real fast time at Kelso.
Yeah,
it's a very, very useful animal. It's the right place in the market. I'm not saying it's much value. I'm not jumping in and saying, oh, let's pile into 1308. But
I just hope because I don't want them knocks to win.
Ginger, have you views on this?
Yeah, my Drogo's an absolute certainty. I think it's the best hurdler in the UK.
I love this. Come on, you think it's the best? What
in the UK?
Best in the
best
UK.
Novice. Yeah,
right.
yeah. I think it's better than anything that Nichols has got. I think it's the best around. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean,
no shit.
I'm going to say there's no Keith Starmer from you there, is there? You're straight in with that one.
Straight in.
See, for our listeners, that's what you want in it. That's someone there that's saying, "Have what you want on this." That's what we want. And to be honest, I can't knock it. You know, it's uber solid on the clock. It's uber solid as a horse. It does everything right. You know, what's not to like?
It stuffed that thing that finished second in the Grade 1 today, didn't it? It stuffed into the ground, and that almost got to Belfast Banter in that Grade 1 today. So I mean, yeah, everything it's beating's winning, isn't it? So it's the form solid.
It's all stacking up.
I don't think it'd beat. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it'd beat that Bob Ollinger, but it's the best we've got by a long shot, I think.
Yeah, fair shout. I'm not really. I don't know what you guys think. I'm not really a fan of Ballyadam.
No,
I'm not really taken by it. I'm not. I didn't like the effort at Cheltenham. I know it made a bad early mistake, but I thought it was really. It looked very ordinary. I don't know. It just does. I think John summed it up for me how I felt. That he said it could be the Irish kitchen fitters medication, or it could be the very strong favourite and rightful favourite in my Drogo. So we've sorted you there, and the Ginge says that will win my Drogo. He's nailed his colours to the mast there. Right, we move on to the very uninteresting 3 o'clock, which is the 2 mile Doom Bar Maghull Novices Chase, a Grade 1 event. 5 go to purse. Very disappointing field, which has left Shishkin the 1 to 7 favourite. I thought you'd be having a 700 to win 1. Ginge, what do you think?
I haven't got enough money.
You've got plenty.
I wouldn't be having a bet in this race, to be honest. I couldn't even pick one to come second to it, but Shishkin should win with its head in its chest, shouldn't it? It's hardly original.
I mean, I wanted a real good field for this because, to be honest, I think what Shishkin's achieved over fences this season is very, very. I'm not saying poor. I'm just saying it's a lot below the standard that the Racing Post have given it, the official rating they've given it. Now you look what it's beat this season. It's beat nothing because even when it won the Arkle. Now look what happened. Rachel Blackman, Captain Guinness ran loose, took on All Mankind. They set it up. All it did in the Arkle, even though it was impressive, was beat Eldorado Allen again, which it beat at Doncaster in a procession. There's been nothing to sort of I don't know. It's the most sort of like you'd expect to be all over a horse that's won by 23 lengths back to Mick Pastor, but Mick Pastor weren't off at Kempton, completely not off. It then beat Tamrock Du Mathan of Paul Nichols by 13 lengths. Now that came out and won a Grade 2 at Kempton, so that's probably the most solid piece of form that it's got. And then, because to me, the Arkle, it just fell apart. It just absolutely fell apart for it. But as I said, I'd just like something there to test it. And then we can see the true measure of it, what it is over fences. Obviously, we know how good it was over hurdles. It beat the Abracadabras, which obviously won the Aintree hurdle earlier this week. So it's all there. The form's there. But I'd just like to see how good he is over fences. And I don't think we've seen it yet. John, do you agree?
I agree entirely, and I don't think we're going to find out until the championship.
No.
You know, because he'll looking down next year. He'll have a little doddle up before Christmas, and he might have a prep run January, early February, but that'll be it. I'm not expecting to see a lot of this.
No, we'll not dwell too long because we can't really find bets in this. There's not much really point talking about it much longer. Disappointing field. 3:35 entry is the 3 mile Ryanair Stayers Hurdle. Very interesting race. 9-4 favourite Time Hill. 15 go to post. John, your thoughts on this?
A nice race, this. I think the fact that Time Hill missed the Fez is probably a good thing for that horse. I think the track will suit. It's quite a decent moving horse. I think a flat level surface will help the horse. Paisley Park, I thought, had a hard race the last day, so I'd been trying to overlook that one. Possibly Liz Nagar Oscar showed enough to suggest he's in this leg as well. Maybe a bit of value against the front end of the market, but I think overall I'd tend to be with Time Hill.
Yes, kind of get where you're coming from the fresh angle. Having, like I said, missed the festival, it might just have the edge on the likes of the other horses. Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
From my perspective, I felt at the prices, if I'm backing any of the top three, I just felt that Roxana each way just might be okay.
Yeah.
Because do you remember we had the conversation at Cheltenham? You really liked for the mares race at Cheltenham. And I said to you, all her improvement has come at 3 miles. In fact, her record at 3 miles is like exceptional. She's really progressing nicely. Her only defeat has come when she was beaten by Paisley Park and Time Hill, but narrowly, and she gave them, like a lot of track position as well. Well, so I just think each way Roxana may be in that. And if someone wanted a big price, I was going to say something like If the Cat Fits, just out the box. If the Cat Fits, he was sort of well beaten last time in the Stayers at Cheltenham. But if you look, he was travelling quite well down the hill and everything was sort of going all right. And I don't think he was given a great ride by Jacob. He was kept wide all the way. He couldn't get any cover, couldn't get in. And I just think if you look at If the Cat Fits as form, his wins have come at Fosslas, Ascot, Aintree, Ascot, Kempton, flat tracks, bowl type tracks. So if you're going to get some kind of shock, I was going to put up If the Cat Fits as some kind of, like miraculous return to form. Yeah. So at big odds. Stocker, what are you saying?
I'm going for a big price one as well. Paul Webber's Indefatigable. It was only just behind Roxana in that mare's hurdle you're on about at Cheltenham, and he's about 3 times the price. He's a spring horse. She's a spring horse, sorry. And I quite like the way he battles on. He won at Cheltenham a couple of years ago. I don't know. I think it was a Martin Pipe or something like that. And he definitely runs better this time of year. And he ran a decent race. Just got outspeeded against in that Roxana race when Black Tears beat the whatever it was of Mullins's. Yeah. So yeah, that's one for me. But I have noticed that there's a big gamble going on. Noel Mead's horse, so that one of the only Irish horses in the race is in from 12s, from 20 odd to 1. In there, that's getting lumped.
The Irish angle.
Yeah,
the Irish angle again. Yeah, we remember, folks. Tomorrow you have to be aware of the Irish angle. Diol Kerr. The form, I did look at this, and I looked at the form in Ireland. I just don't think it's quite going to be at the. But then he did beat Monkfish over hurdles. So yes, back in 2019, it beat Monkfish at Fairyhouse, and then they went over fences, and it didn't quite work out. It was struggling to jump. They won a small race at Limerick under an inexperienced rider, and then they finished second at Gowran and just got touched off last time in a decent race at Gowran. That would be below this level, but you're thinking. I like you thinking. Again, another price horse that could sort of surprise, and especially with the form of the Irish. But you like Indefatigable?
I do. Yeah.
At 20, that's available at 28.33 to 1.
Is it?
Like you said, perfect sense. It's ran fourth in that mares. Like you say, I can't really knock you thinking on that. If it was me, I'd probably go with Roxana each way, because I just feel she's brilliant at 3 miles, and I think she'll be okay tomorrow at that sort of price. But some good tips there. I like our angles there for listeners, whatever they sort of prefer. We've picked out some bigger prices. We move on to the 4:15 at Aintree. It's the 3 mile 1 furlong Betway handicap chase, a Grade 3 event. A Happy Go Lucky was John's selection at Cheltenham, finished second to the big price winner of Sue Smith's Vintage Clouds. That is leading the market at 100 to 30. John, thoughts?
Once again, it should run a nice race. I don't think it's gone up to the extent that you'd be rolling it out of a big run here. The only thing I would suggest is it did have a pretty hard race. It was front end all the way. Whenever he took a swat at it, he never missed it. And I think it's probably just maybe coming sound enough for it at the price. I wouldn't want to play at that price, considering that what a hard race it had. The one I did like here as a bit of value, get your lays in the short as well, folks, is Spirit of the Games. Absolute travelly thing, which you need round here. The surface won't be a problem, be it soft or good. I just got the impression last time this horse is peaking at the right time for this. The yard's in fair nick. As I say, I definitely have a lane at about 1.6 for proper money if you're having a tidy bet. But I don't think this is worth a nice bet. You can take what you wanted out of it, because I think it's got to trade considerably shorter than it is now in the race.
Yeah.
And, when you jump ship's your decision sort of thing. I would be probably looking to sit as tight as possible myself, but anybody could take 2 points out of this after half a lap.
Yeah. This is, he's a very jadey horse. In a finish, but like you say, he's well handicapped enough to take you right into the depths of the race. Which by then, if you do play on Betfair and you've taken a price pre-play, you can certainly just sit back and enjoy the rest of the race with a freebie, or even go full green. Like make sure you win. If Spirit of the Games does his usual and tosses it off on the running. It's that kind of handicap, really. It's very winnable. Sam Brown, for example, is third favourite in here.
Yeah.
And Sam Brown needs it very deep. He needs very, very deep ground to be at his absolute best. So I'm not really a fan of that. You've got Cloudy
as well. That wants slop, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It run all right on this surface, but you won't say that in Prowitch rate until it gets proper chest deep slop.
No, you've got Snow Leopardess that she really stays well, and I'm not sure Aintree is a track. You know, like I mean, if you look at Snow Leopardess's sort of form and wins, she's won at Haydock over the 3 mile 1.5 in bottomless. She's won at Newbury. She's won at Doncaster. She's won at Gowran Park. She's won at Doncaster twice, actually. And I just don't think Aintree is that kind of track for her, given how well she does stay. So again, that's another one I'd sort of put a line through.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put a selection for this because I think it's too hard for me. You know, I'm in kindergarten with this one. I'm no good. Ginge, what are you saying? Have you got something?
I've got one that's a big price. It's got previous form at Aintree. It's won a bumper there. It's won a Grade 1 hurdle there. It was a good chaser, but it's a bit fragile, so he hasn't been to the course very, very much. Layla of Woollycotts, they've got Aidan Coleman booked up, which makes me think they fancy it a little bit. And it runs all right when it's fresh as well, and it likes this time of year. So that's about 16 to 1, I think. That's my tip for the race.
Has that horse got you on your knees?
It might have.
I'd like to know.
No, he's making the Allen plays.
It'll have to buy me a pizza first, though. I know that much.
No, that's it. No eats, no days.
Yeah, I mean, Kaylee Wallacott. I mean, she could do with a winner, to be honest. You know, like you said, Stocks. I mean, she's like the horse is capable, but do you think it gets the trip?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I can see the doubts with it, but it won a hurdle of a 2 mile 5, a Grade 1 hurdle. I'm sure it did.
He'll get it round there, scraping the paint.
Yeah, when you look at it, I know it's finished 4th, 3rd the last couple of times, but it hasn't been beaten far. It's only been beaten, you know, but about a length. I think both times it's ran in the last year or so.
Yep. So Ginge there coming to a great selection with Layla for Kaylee Wallacott. That's around the 14-16 to 1 mark. If it stays, I can certainly see the reasoning. And good news for you anyway, Christopher.
What's that?
Justin Rose has dropped 3 shots today.
Really? Oh, that's cheered me right up.
Of course, John put up a cracking tip last week for Justin Rose to win the Masters. He was 130s on Betfair, 80s each way, and John was rather pleased with himself when Rose was 4 clear. And as I said, I thought that would cheer you up that he's dropped 3 shots today, Justin. John, you're quiet.
Yeah, devastating.
Yeah,
devastating.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny when you were recording this because obviously this could be totally different by the time someone listens to it. But Mark Leishman is leading on 500 at the moment. Leishman, the Australian, yeah.
Just come back. He's got the temperament.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, absolutely.
He's had his bit in. He's had his day in the sun. Thank God for that. I hope he didn't lay off.
I didn't.
Right.
That's pleasing.
So selections there, guys. John's going for Spirit of the Games, but he advises that you lay out late. And Gingy's saying Layla at around the 14-16 to 1 mark. Makes a good case, really. If it stays, it could certainly go very well. In a very winnable race, because the favourite, let's be right, it had every chance last time. It is what it is for me on what it showed at Cheltenham. So I think it's beatable at 100 to 30. So yeah, so good luck with what you decided. That I'm tipping nothing as usual. Right, we go on to the Grand National, the big one, and the latest betting that I can see. I'm trying to get it up on my my computer as we speak, and we've got Cloth Cap as market leader. That's around the 4 to 1 mark, which is a little bit short. And the second favourite is Any Second Now, trained by Ruby Walsh's father, Ted Walsh. Stocker, I'm coming to you first here. You can give me the 2021 Grand National winner. I know you can.
Well, I know it's unoriginal. I've picked three out. I think Cloth Cap is very, very solid, very well handicapped. If he stays and gets a good run round, it'll be very difficult to keep out the frame. I think he's probably a Gold Cup horse for next year. I think it's that good. I would be super impressive with him in its last two runs. Absolutely fantastic anyway. But that's unoriginal. Everybody's seen it. That's why it's 4-1, 5-1 for the race. So I'll concentrate on my two bigger prices. First of all, Magic of Light was second to Tiger Roll a couple of years ago. Was it when Tiger Roll won its first one? And it gave it a hell of a race that day. And I think he made a mistake about 2 out, and it could have been very close between the two of them.
Yeah.
I love the trainer, Jess Harrington. She doesn't send him over here for no reason. It must have a big chance, but he's about 20-1. And then my big outsider will be Chris's Dream, which is about 50-1 of Henry de Bromhead's. And who can't do anything wrong at this moment in time. Bit of back class, Grade 1 winner as a chaser. Even this season, he's won a Grade 1. Hates Cheltenham. He's never run a decent race at Cheltenham. And the only worry in my mind is that, well, the thing that sort of puts me off it a little bit is the fact that they brought it back to try and run it in the Ryanair. And it was never going to win the Ryanair. He ended up getting pulled up. It'll go in the ground all right, and obviously it's got a bit of class about it, but it's weighted it's weighted up to the hilt. But I do like it at 50-1. It shouldn't be 50-1. If it runs as well as it can, it should not be 50-1.
Do you know the massive puzzle I have with de Bromhead, and this has gone on for, I'd say, last couple of years.
Yeah.
Is he just ferments his hair, but he leaves his grey sideburn.
Yeah. He's a bit like that guy off The Sopranos, isn't he?
Holy walnuts.
I mean, that'd be my first. If I could interview him, that'd be my first question. I'd say, when you just fermenting, don't you comb it into your sideburns? Or that's the bit I don't quite get. But
he's actually only 26-year-old as well. You know that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he was greyer back in about 2007 than he is now. But I mean, it's like I say, he's very, very black at the moment, and with these silver sideburns, I kind of quite like it. But anyway, that's something that's always perplexed me. John, so Stocker has given me his value picks, though he knows that Cloth Cap's probably the one to be on. But no value. Now, do you want to back a winner, or do you want value? You're not going to get value back in Cloth Cap, are you? What's your thoughts?
Well, you're not really. I mean, I've got a couple of multiple bets going on Cloth Cap. I don't feel inclined to take a massive risk, scoop out my current balance and lump onto it. I was casting around for a couple of nice prices. I thought Burris Saint might have been a selection of the ground being proper soft. Probably softish, but again, Any Second Now, I think that could probably do with a drop more rain or wet.
Well, they might get it with the Water. They might get it.
That's the thing. And of course, we won't see a race over these fences to have any idea, So I might even make sure that neither of those are a loser for me in the race, which you can do for washers at the prices. Because I'm not going to be having a lot on, but there is two outsiders I feel like playing. When OK Corral won at Donny in January of last year, they had the trainer in, and he explained to them that the horse benefited from a return to a flatter track and quicker ground, and then proceeded to run him on soft at Cheltenham. So back on a flatter track and quicker ground there, with the old conquering Derek O'Connor up, I thought could go well at a price. And the other one I liked was Talk It's Cheap, the former Whitbread winner.
Alan King Kong, yeah.
Yeah, I get the feeling he's tied it up for this. He's £10 higher than he was for his Whitbread, which, if anybody remembers his Whitbread, it's in black and white or sepia, I think it's that long ago. It was value for more than £10 winning that. It absolutely pounced up. And as I say, I think he's brought it back with this race in mind, even though he's not particularly keen on the race. And I can say that putting up a fairly monstrous effort. And another two I'd just chuck in there, possibly Fire Class and Discorama. I think they may be worth a fiver a piece.
I did look at Discorama. I think the only thing that puts me off is the 146-day absence.
Yeah,
now, obviously he's had a window. I do like the profile of Discorama, but I'd love to have seen it have a prep or something, or some kind of even float up in a hurdle. Or I don't get why they're just coming straight here, but that for me. The one right, I've got my next best for the weekend in the National, and I've moved camps from Cloth Cap mainly because of the price, and my next best really for the entire weekend is Any Second Now. Right. This is reminiscent of when he won with Papillon back in 2000, where he campaigned the horse. He was campaigning the horse for the race last year, and he did exactly the same thing. Won over 2 miles at Naas in a grade 3. That was the prep, and he did exactly the same. Won the 2 miles. This year, what's he done? 2 miles. Wins the grade 2, beating a staunch 2-miler in Castle Grace Paddock. Very impressive. It was very, very impressive. Now, some will point to the ground, which I kind of concur with you. But for 4 miles, 2 furlongs, I'm thinking it won't be so bad if it's genuine sort of good to soft. Because would it get 4-2? I mean, we know that it stays the Kim Muir trip because it's won the Kim Muir pissing up, quickening up the running, going clear, and it would have probably gone on and won by further. And so we know it's won a Kim Muir. It's got the speed for 2 miles. So I like the versatility because in a National, don't forget, the first 5 or 6 fences in the National, they're going quick. Yeah. And you need that natural speed to hold your position and not get an absolutely shit tip of a position going into beaches. So I'm thinking Any Second Now, it's got the same profile as Papillon for me. And I just think this is an absolute tee-up. And for me, at the prices, rather than take the shorter price Cloth Cap, I'd much rather have a sizable each-way bet Any Second Now, as many places as you can get, preferably about 10, whoever's daft enough to pay it. But other thing of note, I wouldn't back Burrows Saint because he started to hang for me quite badly. At Fairy House last time, he was beaten by Acapella Bourgeois, and he hung badly right on the running. Anyone watch that race? Well, that's no good on the elbow, is it? I mean, let's say he's coming to the last and you're thinking, we've got a chance here, folks. And then he jumps the last, okay, but then starts to hang badly right. Well, that's no good when you're going left-handed on an elbow. So, again, for him running players, if Burrows Saint's there at the last, given his tendency to hang badly right under pressure, you don't want that on the Spanish Archer. So, I would say Burrows Saint, for him running players especially, just watch that if he's there turning in, because he will hang right when and it's only Patrick Mullen, that rode today. He rode the top end winner, but I like I say, he's not a town end. He's not that's the thing. This will hang right. So Burrows Saint I'd be against for that reason because of the elbow. Right, that's us for the National. So Any Second Now for me. Christopher obviously like Cloth Cap and has come with some value selections. John Disco Rama mentioned, and I sort of like that as well because of the wind up and the profile of it. But I didn't like the 146-day absence. But there's some good value there against what's likely to be a well-bet favourite in Cloth Cap. We move on to the final race of the day, which is the National Hunt Flat Race, the Aintree Bumper. John, any thoughts here?
I would personally be heading to the car park.
The Pate. Pate?
Well, yeah, if I wasn't at the races, I'd be spreading a bit of pate on it and giving the dog a shout.
I'm trying to envisage that.
So
what are you spreading pate on?
Draw your own conclusions.
Ginge, what are you thinking for the bumper?
I didn't even look at it, Lee. I'm not really interested.
No,
yeah, it's not really one. It's just like after the Lord Mayor Show, after the National League, it's just a waste of time. That should be
can I surprise you both then? I've got a nap here.
Right.
If you could surprise us properly and give us a winner, that'd be a new thing.
Well, I hope to do so because obviously the way the Irish has gone this week, and particularly Emmett Mullins. Now, I'm going to say something about Emmett Mullins. His strike rate's over 40% in 2021. Now, that's just ludicrous. Now, that's not possible, especially at standard of races he's been contested. He hasn't got many horses. And the shunter the other day, on Thursday, must have hit 24 fences. And it was still odds on coming to the last and, nearly won. Now, whatever he's got in that feed, it's literally rocket fuel. And he runs a horse called the Gossiper. And this was very impressive at Wexford in its National Hunt Flat race on debut. Now, I watched both its point-to-points, and it basically travels very strongly, but its jumping, it kind of lets it down. But it's got it's got gears. This has got gears. I mean, if you look at the breeding, John, it's by Dylan Thomas.
Right.
Out of the King's Theatre mare. It'll if the ground is good to soft, good as the pundits want to call it, that'll be no problem whatsoever. And the Gossiper for me, I think he's a very, very strong bet in the bumper around the 4-1 mark. So yeah,
expect Dynafarmer type fractions from this thing, can't we?
And of course, it's invaluable having a bet in last race when we've all done our bollocks. What's better than having a 4-1 perk to have a guy at last and then get it all back? Gamble aware, be aware. I'm putting the moniker on you like you do, but yeah, you know what it's like. But anyway, it's perfect setup for me. I do like the horse. I'm very impressed with it in its points, apart from falling. And the Wexford run for me was very impressive. And I'm all over the Gossiper in the last entry. So we've covered it all off. Gentlemen, have we any business elsewhere?
We have.
Ooh, good. John, fire away.
In the 140 at Dundalk.
Yes.
With Abstract, which will be a massive improver for the trip. The visor's on, they've got a claimer on, and the Master of Rosewell clearly means business.
Well, he needs a better year than he did last year, I think.
Well, if this wins, it'll already be a better year.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Ewing's an eye-catching booking taking the 5 off. Like you say, it's a See the Stars out of the Galileo mare, and it's obviously been ran for a mark over 1 mile and 7 furlongs. I have watched it, so I totally agree with you. Are you thinking then a lot of improvement for the trip? Are you thinking this could be what can you put a mark on it? It's off 72 tomorrow. What mark could you put on it?
I'd say at some point this year it'll hit mid-80s. I don't think it's 100 off or anything like that, but I think you can hit mid-80s at the trip.
Yeah. Interesting. Any other business elsewhere, John?
I'd just point something out that there's no Mira horse running at Wolves on tomorrow night, 8:15, endlessly. A glaring example of trainers accepting the shite that jockeys come out with as absolute gospel. They're moving it up half a mile because Spencer rode this like thick Dave would ride it if he didn't give him any instructions. Dropped to a detached last early, no pace and such. I mean, if he'd sat Andy, he could have won the race. He's run on through horses despite the fact that they were all quickening as well. But you say he's a top jockey, so it can't be his fault, can it? It has to be the horse that wants further. And I'm hoping that this gets stuffed tomorrow night and they have to go back scratching their heads to 1.5 miles, because then I intend stepping in and having a right bet, provided it runs at Donny or York or somewhere, back end favouring if Spencer's back on it.
Good stuff, John. Good stuff. I like it. Yeah, so a couple of things John's pointed out there. So abstracting the 140 at Dundalk, and he's mentioned endlessly there. Maybe not one for tomorrow, but certainly one when dropping back in trip. John wants to strike. Ginge, anything from you elsewhere tomorrow? Did you get a chance to look?
No, I didn't bother, mate. I stuck to Aintree. It's enough for me.
Yeah, that's enough from you. Yeah.
Yeah,
right, John summed up the 140. I did look at the 140 at Dundalk, and there's another horse in there from Noel Mead of called Lunar Power. That's had 3 starts also. Colin Keane booked pieces for the first time. I'm not sure about the trip for 1.5 miles, but I was very keen on Jeff Kidder last year for Noel Mead. And you've seen what Jeff Kidder's done since Noel Mead got it off a very low mark. So I thought Lunar Power was worth just keeping an eye on. I'm not saying betting it. I'm not sure if I'll bet it myself.
There's a few trainers in this that could be at it, isn't there, to be fair? You know?
This is like you can imagine the scene from Snatch. You know, it's like the Irish gypsies are stood round and
you can see it going bare knuckle if they can't sort it out on the track.
Oh yeah, they're ready for this one. They're ready for a carve up. I mean, Joseph O'Brien's horse in the race, Award Dancer. That's second favourite to yours, John, Abstract.
Yeah,
and that's ridden by Huge Organ, claiming the 7. And he likes booking Huge when he wants to sort of land a punt and get a bit of weight off just to make sure. Yeah. So I'm thinking Award Dancer also. That's not been off. It's a warm race, but it's one to watch for the future. This is one for you guys that you can watch this. Put it in your trackers. Put a horse that you thought wasn't off. Put it in your trackers. That's that kind of race. It's an Irish gypsy kind of race. That's the 140 at Dundalk. But forget the national tomorrow. The real sport happens in the 5:30 at Newcastle tomorrow. This is one for the absolute sport hurts purist. You've got the favourite here in Rook. This race every year seems to attract gambles because it's Grand National Day and no one's bothered. Well, the front 2 in the market at the moment. Aye. Corey House. Yeah. So we've got 2 here that front the market. We've got Ruckwa and McGarry. Both of these horses, I can guarantee you, whenever the money's down, they will win, and they will win by half the track. So that's the beauty of this race tomorrow. You'll have to just see what they're backing, what the state of play is. But Ruckwa, Sam England trains that one, was blatantly not off at Weatherby. McGarry is owned by the Vac Pouch man, trained by Philip Kirby. That's been stopped ridiculously. Down to 78. He's probably got 20 plus in hand. These 2 are just miles in front of this opposition. So whatever they bet, I promise you could back. Maybe you've backed both. Maybe both are off. Back both. You can't lose. The rest of them are absolute shit. So it literally is down to Ruckwa and McGarry in the 5:30 at Newcastle. I thought I'd point that out to you so you can take the price and leave very disappointed when they've got to take a price in the morning. So I hope you've really enjoyed the show. You've met the Ginger Hitler. He's come with some good stuff, to be fair. I'm very impressed. And John's come with some good selections, including his best choice at Dundalk in the 140, Dirty Dermot, with Abstract. And I hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back on Sunday for the Sunday sermon, round about Sunday evening, and we'll be abusing people and basically talking rubbish for 30 minutes. And then we've got the Craven show on Monday night. So hope you've enjoyed it. Bye for now.